Yes. This new law that suspends exemption deductions for you, your spouse, and your dependents. Yeah. Exactly how many dependents do I have? Now, considering I'm still married, yes. And considering the fraud of the issuance of the protection order, yes. And the arrests that have taken place, poop. Exactly how many dependents do I have? Claim someone as your dependent. He or she must be either your qualifying child or your qualifying relative. You must have a qualifying child under age 17 to claim the child tax credit for the additional child tax credit. Yes. Well, Zachary is no longer a qualifying child. Yes. He's not under the age of 17. Boo! You must have a qualifying child over age 16 or a qualifying relative to claim the new $500 credit for dependents who do not qualify the child tax credit. Yes. Now, my to the child under 19. Um, could you tell me? Yes. hmm These qualifying children that you say that I don't have a right to speak to? Pooch! How the fuck is it that you think that I don't have the right to speak to them when you... However, a child is not a qualifying child if he or she provides over half of his or her own support. I just wanted to know, should married dependents file separately? Yeah. Qualifying relatives. You may claim an exemption for a person of as your if the relationship goes in a support test, so on and so forth. Individual is not your qualifying child. The individual meets the citizen resident test and joint return test required dependent. You cannot be claimed as a dependent. Relationship test? Yes. Children, grandchildren, great grandchildren who are not qualifying children? Yeah. Brothers, sisters, and their children. Parents, grandparents, and other relatives. Stepchild, husband or wife or child. A member of household, unrelated, distant. Um, this woman, Marilyn Van Proyen? Yes. Well, I wanted to adopt her, and if I was to adopt all these children that were Mike Van Proyen's children, yes. Does adoption mean that there's the qualifying for a tax deduction? Yes, because of the adoption, whether or not they're an adult male or female person or a child. And then did Mike deduct Legina off his income taxes as a pastor of Kingsway Foursquare Church when he misrepresented the actual identity of her mother in a Rotarian newsletter? Yes. And then Foursquare didn't enforce the legal obligations to never deceive any person about the identity of those that are licensed as licensed ministers of that denomination. Now, I know when you say that's Legina, yes, and that my sister is actually her adopted mother because she said it was her adopted daughter from Haiti. Yes, I think Mike could have been deceiving the Internal Revenue Service. Now, if I were to call the IRS and say, well, I have this photograph, yes, and I know for sure that's not Marilyn, poop, is there any possible way I could sue the Internal Revenue Service for